I'm Hannah.
And I'm Natalie. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. Is your smartwatch your favorite hater? On today's episode, we chat about some of our favorite gadgets and running technology out there. We've also kicked off training for Wine Dine. And just in case that wasn't enough to juggle, Princess Half registration opens today. So may the fastest Wi-Fi win. From watches and apps to headphones and recovery gear, we're sharing what we use, what we love, and which features we still don't totally understand, but pretend that we do. So, lace up your shoes and step into the magic with us. In case you're not spooked enough by Princess registration right now, the London Marathon Lottery got called this past week.
And it was a tantalizing, I don't know, it was terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. I thought it was still going to be in July that they were called. I guess now that I reread the email, it said by July. I go, okay. And all right, start panicking a little bit. And one by one, people in the group chat fall and get their rejection emails. And, you're kind of holding on to hope. And it's like, I went through a lot of phases of acceptance or denial, acceptance. Oh crap, I'm going to be running 3 marathons in 6 months. Started planning a vacation, checking my miles balance, seeing if premium economy wasn't really actually going to wipe away that many miles off my that I have saved up. Wondering what wisps of me would be floating to the finish line. And again, I was the last one standing in our group chat of almost 10 people for hours.
Yeah, there was a big gap between me and
Sarah were last.
Sarah, yeah, and then it was a couple hours.
It was 4 hours.
Yours. Yeah, because we got ours around lunchtime, and you didn't get yours till 3 your time, which was 4 my time.
Terrifying.
Long time.
Because, London had put out, well, if you haven't gotten a rejection yet, you might still be in. I'm again, it was, I started planning of what things were actually going to look like. Really even remapping my plans even for Chicago, because I'm okay, well, can I go that hard in the paint with Dopey and then London within the next 6 months? I'm trying to, I'm accepting, I'm reaching out, making vacation plans. And then I start seeing, I put up a poll of trying to find out, am I the last one standing? And most people responded that they had already gotten rejected. There were a handful that had responded that they were still waiting, but most people had already responded that they had been rejected by that point. And then Mr. Natalie had to troll, and he said, "Yep, got in." Okay. Then finally, 4 hours later, when I'm settling into acceptance that this is happening, I get my no, not this year. And I'm in my office at work, and I go over to the other runner in the office, and I was like, I got rejected. Woo! Because I had when I lottoed, I had talked to her about it too, and talked about how I was I'm doing this because it's such a small chance that I get in, but also I'm kind of scared now that I think about the idea of 3 marathons in 6 months. She's like, "Oh, I'm so happy for you that you got your rejection."
I was minorly bummed that I didn't get in. I mean, I did not expect to. If you do the math on like roughly 45 to 50,000 people participating out of the 1.1 million, you had about a 4% chance of being selected. And I do think like a greater portion of those people are locals. Like I think they have a separate pool for
Mhm.
Londoners and they have a separate pool for non England? I don't really know where the
International.
border. Yeah. Well, I don't know like if it where the edge of quote unquote local for them falls. Like if you live in Ireland, is that close enough? Is that international? I don't know.
People just yelled at their, radio like, "We beef." Uh,
I know that I'm aware that there are different places,
yeah.
but I just don't know like because
Yeah.
like New York Marathon also has if you live in New York or I think possibly even if you live in Jersey because you're close enough, like
Yeah.
they have an actual mileage border.
Does Chicago does Gary, Indiana count?
I don't think
No, they
Chicago
don't do a
has.
preference for, locals.
No.
They absolutely don't.
No.
I just wanted to make a Gary, Indiana joke, but, could the Pope have gotten preferential treatment? He should, but
I think if the Pope wanted to run a marathon, they would just let the Pope run the marathon.
can you imagine?
Honestly, I don't think they would actually. Like
No.
full stop, I think they would say sorry, that's too big of a security risk.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's a whole Pope mobile, so,
Mhm.
yeah, that would be but that would be honestly it would be my, dying wish to pass the Pope. I would do everything I could. Like, every speed workout would I do, would I be focused on trying to pass the Pope.
We should do some research, see if we can find any previous athletic endeavors by the Pope as a child, see what kind of paces he was getting, if he was ever on cross country or track, and then we can make some customized Pope workouts.
Oh my god. I have
Come
so
back next week because I'm sure we'll have looked into it.
I have so many thoughts, on this. And I just got such a glimmer of happiness, imagining, the Pope participating in, a Chicago turkey trot or, one of the f like, a frigid one of the, polar plunges in Lake Michigan.
Mhm.
That's a glimmer. That's a happy. And now he's the Pope.
So exciting.
I'm still not over Chicago Pope, everybody. I'm never getting over Chicago Pope.
You know what else is something you should never get over? Our anniversary next week. Ah! So if you're not freaking out enough about the London Lottery, about registration for Princess today, or whatever other chaos you have going on in your life, get excited because next week is our 1 year anniversary. We'll be celebrating and we'll be doing a little ask AMA, ask us anything. So it's AUA maybe. Yeah, maybe. Anywho, if you have a question or anything you would like us to discuss, feel free to send us a message on social media or go in the Facebook group. We have a post going there. Maybe we'll open up a question box for the next few days on our Instagram to allow you to put anything in. But we can't wait to celebrate.
The birds outside my window probably will intercept your carrier pigeon and pass the message along to me too.
So, with your panic, how's your training going?
Training is definitely going. Weekly whine about the heat. Um,
Mm.
but just means gotta get up earlier. So it just when the birds chirp outside my window at 4:50 in the morning, it's like they're trying to help me or something.
What temperature is it in the morning versus like the afternoon there?
Um, there have been some times when I've gotten it's already been 70 degrees. Dew point, I'm not exactly sure until I'm coated in sweat. And I'm like, I need to look at what the dew point was. And I always forget to do it. And then, I mean, this past weekend we had record heat or not or
Mm-hmm.
close to record breaking heat, in the hundreds. Um, and it's also humid AF up here. So, um, swampy.
Sounds very much like Georgia, except we're still on our umpteenth day in a row of rain. So it is consistently like walking through a sauna. And actually, this is abnormal for it to rain this many days in a row. This hasn't happened in a really long time. But we are supposed to have some clear days. And the next like week, the highs are all mid 90s.
Dang.
So it's going to be hot. And we basically don't get below 70 at night, like ever again, probably for the rest of forever until fall.
Dang.
So
Oh,
it's toasty.
I did get a request this past week from somebody. Greg, how is your lawn?
Oh, lawn posting.
The sod
Uh
pod.
the lawn is coming along. The backyard is looking really good. Um we are hoping to Ben and I both have summer birthdays, so we are secretly hoping to maybe get edgers as a birthday present, adulting as one does. Um love those practical presents. And then that will probably allow us to get some of the like, along the fence is kind of hard to do with
Mm-hmm.
just the mower, so we have been manually going and like pulling up any weeds and stuff that grow along there. But I do think we still have quite a variety of stuff going on in our yard, so we're going to do another round of spray weed killer stuff. Not I don't know. I kind of think we should do another round of fertilizer, but
Around the 4th,
we'll
which I
see.
guess is like next week.
You think we should do fertilizer for 4th of July?
So my mom, who is listening to this, fantastic
Hi,
grass
Natalie's mom.
always. But she told me around in the summer, it's like your holidays. So like Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day. And then that also includes like one in like the early spring and then one before to like put your grass to bed for the like winter, like
Winter.
winterizing,
Yeah.
um, fertilization.
I wonder if our timing is different though, because we're so much further south.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure that out. And I need tangential to lawn posting the sod pod is we have hydrangeas in our front yard, and like
Ooh.
there's a landscaped portion in front of our front porch, and I don't know how to care for any of the plants. So if you know how to care for plants in Georgia, hit me up. Mom, that's you probably. You've never lived in Georgia, but you lived in the South, so help.
I was gonna say my mom's plants always look good, but that's also like a Chicago plant. So
Hmm.
not to be confused with Chicago Pope. Um, and one more side tangent based on lawn stuff. My lawn's looking pretty good right now. We have to reseed a couple little patches too,
Yeah.
um, but it's looking pretty nice right now. But we saw the bunnies.
I saw a bunny in my neighbor's yard.
I swear. So we live next to an empty lot at the moment. They did like pull some stuff out. I think that they're gonna start working on the empty lot, but based on they seem to have like flattened in like tight or like cleaned some of
Mm,
the like all the overgrowth because that's going to be really nice for
the
us for what
brush.
the brush, the weeds, like because like we're fighting a losing battle. And
Uh-huh.
we're fighting, but some of the weeds are just, when you have just the wild grass. But we saw, I think, the bunny that was in our garage this morning, which was a couple mornings ago in reality. But Mr. Natalie is like, there's a bunch of bunnies. And they were in the lot where they belonged, not in our garage again. But Bean Bunny, I swear, I saw him. He was looking for a new home because he's been evicted from Muppet Courtyard. Rude.
Yeah. Oh, poor guy. But they, I'm skipping ahead a little bit to news. Um, I'm sure we'll discuss it, but they put some more art out for Monsters
I did see that.
Monstropolis. There we
Yeah.
go. And there's a fountain in the art now, so we'll have some memory of it, perhaps.
Yes, we
Rest
will.
in peace.
Rip in
I still
peace.
don't have any training updates. other than the fact that I did acquire dumbbells,
Yay!
which I'm very excited about. We got the snazzy power blocks. If you've
Ooh.
ever seen them at your gym, possibly. I bought them from someone on Facebook, met a random stranger in a Chick-fil-A parking lot, and didn't get murdered. So it was a success. And they're a really nice set, honestly. I think like full, so they come, the set we got is expandable. It's
Ooh.
the like base set goes from 15 to 50, I think, but
Oh.
really it goes from 2.5 because the way the handle is built, the base handle weighs 5 pounds.
Okay.
And then there's these 2.5 weights that you put inside the handle
Mm-hmm.
to bring it up to like the highest possible weight once you add all the expansions. So you get those 2.5 weights. So theoretically, you could just take those little individual weights out and use those as dumbbells if you want really low weight. So really it goes from 2.5 to 50. Then there's a 70-pound expansion and a 90-pound expansion. I don't think I'm ever going to be lifting 90-pound dumbbells. Ben might be. I don't think I will be. Not even in like, using it as a kettlebell or something. I don't think I'll get that high. But he sold it to us with the 70-pound expansion. And just to buy the base model brand new on the website is like $600 or something. Like
Dang.
608, I think, is the
Weights are
price I have in
expensive.
my head. Yes. And I mean, to be fair, expandable, like changeable weights are expensive, but actually more cost effective and take up less space than
Yeah.
buying all the individuals if you're going to have that big of a weight range. But he sold it to us for $380.
Dang.
And that was with the 70-pound expansion, which each expansion is like almost $200. So I feel like big ol' score.
Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah, and they're in really good condition. There's some like paint chips and stuff, but they are 100% functional, no problems whatsoever. And they look good. There's no rust or anything, which is what I would expect from someone keeping them in their garage in Georgia. So that was a nice surprise. So
Nice.
now I've got everything I need to do, all my workouts that Kristen plans for me in the room. I don't have to go anywhere. I just have to walk across the hall from my bedroom. So let's go.
Nice. Oh yeah, I'm beefing with Kristen right now. Not actually. Um, but
She's just whipping your butt.
yeah, she
Literally. Those
legitimately
glute muscles.
my butt has seen things in this last week that I should not have said it like that. But sometimes like I'm doing the I'm a Patreon, so I am doing the glute burner. That was my
Mhm.
chosen add-on.
Mhm.
And I am just like, oh, like 2 exercises, great. I'm gonna like stack some of the ones that I haven't done on my run days. No, I did stack them the other day. I legitimately like I was more sore when I went home that night.
Mhm.
Like I was getting progressively more sore throughout the day. I don't what? Yeah. Gonna have very like I legitimately puddles. Like I was like slip and sliding on the mat that I was using. Um I have a little like Pilates ball
Mhm.
for and well, I ran and then like I
Gotta
did
squeeze that blueberry.
gotta squeeze the blueberry. But I was using that and it was slipping because it was I mean, I was just kind of generally sweating, but I had to just what I was using before I bought the little Pilates ball was like a wad of bubble wrap that was in my basement,
Okay.
and that I had to go back to the bubble wrap because I could at least get like a better hold on that and not just send the ball flying across the basement. But
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, uh, woof. Um,
Oh,
it's a peachy summer.
it is. But once we get through summer, you know what comes after that?
Ex
Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much. That's pretty much the next holiday. And you know what else comes? Disney has Land Halloween half marathon weekend. We have 72 days until Disneyland Halloween half marathon weekend. which is wild. We're just barely 2 months out, like a little more than 2 months out. For training this week, the 5K. It is your first week of runs. You've got this. Welcome to the party.
Woo!
If for any of the plans for any race length, you will be doing 30 minutes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If it's the challenge, it's 30 to 45. Pick your poison. And then we've got long runs this weekend. So on Saturday, 5K, you have 1.5 miles. 10K, you have 3.5 miles. Beginner half, 8 miles. Experienced half, also 8 miles. Challenge, get ready for your first back to back. On Saturday, you've got 1 mile, followed by 8 miles on Sunday. Good luck, everyone. We wish you the best.
Speaking of stuff joining the party, what's that I hear?
Wine and Dine. Wine and Dine is also joining the training party this week. We have 121 days until Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2025. For training, if you are running the half or the challenge, this is your week. You have joined the party. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, so again, pretty standard. If you're running, you'll have Tuesdays and Thursdays, 30 minutes. And for the challenge, it's 30 to 45. Again, pick your poison. Maybe a nice glass of Merlot. I don't know. For the beginner half, you've got 2 miles on your Saturday long run. And for the experienced half, you have 3 miles. And for the challenge, you also have 3 miles. Get hyped, get excited. Can't wait for Wine and Dine this year. I was saying over and over that I wasn't doing it, but here I come.
After a year, they know what they're listening to. They know that we're going to all say, we're not doing it.
Okay, but I feel like this is the first time that's true for me. I usually tend to stick to what I say.
No, you were in the same boat last year also with Wine and Dine because it was a couple weeks into the pod that you got your bib
Oh,
too.
that's true. Okay, I take it back. I don't remember anything. That's what Natalie's for. Yeah,
That's
you're
what
right.
the
I think
historian, the
I got
pedant
it
is
even
for.
later though.
It was about midway through July.
Okay, yeah. I was like, it was
Why do I
much
remember that?
later for sure. I
Why do
don't
I
know
remember?
why you remember that. I don't remember anything. I barely remember what I ate for lunch today.
What did you eat for lunch today?
I had a or not sesame. I had a miso peanut chicken thing with rice.
Ooh, fancy.
I mean, it was super easy. I did it in the slow cooker. So I
Yum.
dumped it all in the slow cooker and then I put the rice in my Instapot, hits go, and came back in like 4 hours. Do recommend. All right, we have 197 days until Marathon Weekend 2026. We're under 200 days.
That is not real. That is so, you are lying. I know you're not because I added these dates, but no.
I know, it's crazy. Oh, I'm getting really excited. That is just like, ooh, yay. Hopefully, we get another opening. I would still very much like to upgrade my standalone marathon to a goofy. But even if I don't, I am still just so excited to be there. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. If you are still looking to submit your proof of time for marathon weekend, you have until July 1st, which is next week. It is when we will be celebrating, so if, we'll send out one more reminder, but get it in there. You can do this. All right, we have 219 days until Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend 2026. Your shirt deadline is July 16th, 2025, and your proof of time deadline is August 1st, 2025. So a little over a month. We have 247 days until Princess Half Marathon Weekend 2026, and general registration is today. If you haven't already heard it, because we said it at the beginning. But maybe you skipped that part. Are you excited? Did you get what you wanted?
Well, like I did because I already registered, but
Yeah.
we're redoing it?
Oh, yeah. I was kind
Okay.
of letting, Please respond here.
Screaming, crying,
uh,
throwing up.
I signed up with a charity for the 5K. So I at least have that locked in because that was the one I was most nervous about. And even though we have a big group and lots of friends and, theoretically we should be able to make it work and there's other openings and stuff, I just didn't want to risk it. And I love running for charity. So it really just made sense. But I will also be in the trenches with all of y'all, as will Natalie, trying to secure the needed challenge registration for me and our party.
Indeed. What charity are you running for?
I am running Princess with Kelsey's Hope.
Ooh, exciting.
So, I mean, if you've run before, you've probably seen them. They're really hard to miss. They're in neon yellow and ray pink. And we'll have the link in the description, not the description, the show notes.
Woohoo.
And it's also linked on my bio, so you could go check it out on Instagram if you want.
Do we want to talk about the merch options yet?
Sure. Do you want me to do shirt deadline and proof of time first?
Oh, yeah, you should definitely do that first. Never mind.
I'll get the shirt deadline out of the way and then it'll make sense for us to discuss all the merch. So the shirt deadline is August 4th, 2025, which is coming up. A little too soon for my liking. And your proof of time is September 1st, 2025. So a little over 2 months. No,
No,
math is not mathing.
it's a little over 2 months.
Oh my God. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I thought it was still 3. In my head, that math didn't make sense, but it was real.
June was like has been one of the fastest months on Earth.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe it.
In my job, it always is fast. Where I mean, my boss and I were talking about something. We're like, oh yeah, well that's going to go out the 26th, and that's next week. He's like, oh, which is this week at this point. He's like,
I'm having an
oh,
existential crisis about it. I cannot believe it. Yeah, and we have a big project at my job that has to be done by the end of June. That's terrifying. Nope. We're
it's
not
not spooky
talking about
season.
that. Let's talk about merch. Let's talk about merch.
Yeah, no, like it's the shirt deadline's on my Mr. Natalie's like 8 year like of being together 8 years of being together. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute.
That is cute.
But merch, everybody. So if you're listening to this before you register, look at this stuff later, okay? We're going to talk to you about it, but don't waste your precious seconds checking out on the merch, okay? Listen to me. Look at me in the eyes, even though this is an audio format. Do not waste your time on the merch right now, but I'm going to talk about it. Because hair flip, already registered. We have a pink motif going on, everybody. In all the princesses I have done since 2020, we've never had a primarily pink. It's been a mixture between the teals, the blues, the purples, and it's usually been trading off between the teal and the purple. We are Pink Pony Club, baby. Pink Pony Club.
Everything is pink.
Thank you, Barbie. I'm so happy. So we have the Spirit jersey. It's like I feel like they've all kind of been like almost the tie-dye-ish.
Yeah, it's like a pink cream ombre situation.
I think it'll be cuter in person. I feel like the Spirit jersey never looks how it actually looks when you buy it.
No, their art proofs are not accurate.
Yeah. Although it was kind of funny because everybody said that about the jacket last year with it's not actually white, and it was white, and it actually was cute. I just knew that there was no way I would keep that clean.
It was very tempting though.
It was, especially when I then went to Chaos Connection or to one of the discount shops. Like, ooh. But loving the pink. So we finally have an indication of the yoga theme too.
Yeah, because there's nothing on the website.
There's a yoga tank. It's like a dark pink maroon, and it's got Lumiere and Cogsworth on there. It says yoga. So they did the long sleeve flowy shirt last year that had I think the mice from Cinderella on it, and that was really cute. It's interesting they went with the tank, and I am a proponent of the tanks. I wear them all summer long in the parks when it's warm enough. Like I buy pretty much all the tanks because I will definitely wear them. So depending on the material for this one, because if it's the athletic-y material, I'll probably still buy it, but, well, if I don't do yoga, I probably won't buy it. I don't know, Imma think about it. But, it kinda
You
has
could do
me.
yoga at home.
Yeah. Well, kept saying that I was gonna make sure I did a yoga when it was at Disneyland, because that's still over in the castle.
Mhm.
RIP.
They keep
And,
having openings, you still have a shot.
the openings were opened this week. I I should
Our group chat was blowing up. The Telegram notifications were wild and rude.
legitimately, um, I something came over me and the Halloween half opened up, and I literally not only did I have it in my car, I literally got all the way to check out before I was like, "Should I do this?" And I go, "Yeah." And then it sold out. In that split second I took to think about it, it was like, "It sold out." But whew, but you know what would have happened if I did that? Is that then I would have gotten picked for London. After I was, like, already had a should
Yeah.
I do that? And that's what would happen. So now I feel honestly like I have the permission to sign up for Halloween if it opens because it's not like I'm flying to London. Girl math.
Mhm.
Seems completely reasonable to me. It's like, Mr.
I
Natalie
don't
could be
know,
like,
depending I mean, you're much closer to the West Coast than I am, so ticket prices for you are probably better, but I was gonna say, like, flying to London for me versus flying to Cali is probably not very different cost-wise.
I remember when I used to, sort of kind of lived in Atlanta-ish for work. Flying to LAX from Atlanta was cheaper than flying to Cincinnati an hour away,
That's wild.
significantly. Because I would keep if I would do a weekend trip elsewhere than home, I would keep screenshots to say, hey, like this honestly saved the company money. It literally did. Like it was significantly cheaper, and that was even looking like a couple days out because I was just looking to like double check a couple times that the flights that I booked, and it was insane. So flying out of Omaha is even worse than flying out of Cincinnati price wise. So we might actually be batting similarly, TBH.
Maybe.
But I also sit on a throne of miles. So
Yeah. I do
yeah.
not have that many. I will not be regaining my platinum status,
Oh,
unfortunately.
it's so sad when you don't have it anymore. It's
Yeah. All right. Ready for springtime?
oh, I was born ready. Now that I
We
can
have
do it because I didn't get into London.
Well, we all have to be there to support Jess anyways.
True.
So, we have 296 days until Springtime Surprise Weekend 2026. That one's under 300. We've
Wow.
hit another milestone. Club Run Disney registration is on July 22nd, 2025, and general registration is on July 29th, 2025.
That's also insanely close,
It is. It's like a month away.
which means we probably get themes in like 2 weeks.
Mhm. Yeah, probably. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm stoked about that because it's going to help me with my little personal project, but and, because we talk about it here on the pod.
Helps us with our
But
personal project called content and
but
discussion.
also time, I don't like it.
Yeah, that's crazy that we're approaching the last registration of our
Of the season.
yeah,
Bonkers.
that is
It's
wild.
bonkers because I mean, the timing is kind of poetic because we'll finish like our registration season and then our running season, like training season, will be like all of them will be in pretty much full swing.
Yeah.
Halloween, Wine and Dine, Marathon will have started. Uh Princess, I'll have to double check, but we'll be getting really close to the
Think that's October.
is it?
Usually it's around it usually the why do I know this first of all?
Disneyland might.
Disneyland's about Labor Day. Again, why do I know this? Um,
She just lives. This stuff just lives in her brain, y'all.
Rent
Rent
free.
free.
Oh God. Uh, so there's some number I have to look at numbers and stuff all day long. And there's some fun numbers that get to stay in my head. So
I also look at numbers, but apparently these are not the ones that stick.
yeah, I don't know, man. Well, I think it was also trying to seed the bracket of I
Mm.
knew that something that could be a pro and could be a con was Wine and Dine to Princess, which whiny princesses, woo, was that like it kind of resets where you have Wine and Dine and then basically you either overlap only like a week, if not any overlap at all, and then you restart. And that can be a pro if you're like, oh wow, I get to basically like start with base training again. Or it could be a con if you're like, oh my God, I have another 19-week training cycle ahead of me. Rent free. Well, I think it's time for some news. So this past week, the Frozen Pro Shot debuted on Disney Plus, which is from the West End cast of Frozen the musical.
I'm excited. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet.
Me either.
However, I'm excited. Although, with that coming out, How to Train Your Dragon is out, how obviously Lilo and Stitch is out, but I've already seen that. There's so many good movies coming out. I'm gonna have to prioritize. I'm gonna have to make a list, a plan, schedule all of these in.
I think Elio, the new Pixar movie, just
Yeah.
came out.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have been seeing some good reviews so far. I know that a lot of people were a little skeptical because they didn't really market it very much. But I don't know, it looks cute. Maybe it's gonna be like
Yeah.
Elemental, be another like slow burner. I heard
Yeah.
somebody, oh, it was Frank from Dilla's Disc, called it the Ratatouille effect of like a slow
Oh,
burn.
okay. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like a lot of their stuff, like, they haven't been advertising it as much. Maybe we're just not the target demographic anymore, and that's why I don't notice. But uh yeah, I don't see very much for it, and then it's like suddenly it is out. But then before they come out, all I see is people talking bad about it, saying how terrible it's gonna be, and I'm like, well, with that attitude, of course it is.
Oh, don't even get me started. Because like a lot of people are like, we want original stories, no more live action remakes. And then they make an original
Mm-hmm.
story. It's like, well, what is
Eh,
this? I'm like, oh, an original story.
yeah. Also, like, there's aliens, and they're
Yeah.
cute. I am stoked about it. I
Yeah.
think it's gonna be adorable.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be super cute. And I'm sure
I'll
I'll
probably have to see it by myself. I don't think Ben wants to see it. But what if I just put it off a couple weeks till 4th of July and then like half of the group chat will be in town and we all go see it together post Peachtree.
ooh. Nothing
I
sounds
will suggest.
like a good way to cool off after you were running out in the heat. After you shower, of
Mm,
course.
mhm.
Not that I'm going to tell you how to live your life, but being in a cool movie theater.
Mhm. And we have some serious AC down here. So,
Ooh, nice. I don't really have a good way to transition to the next one. I was trying to go with it, but Test Track now has a reopening date.
yay!
Super duper exciting. As of us recording, AP previews have not been announced. Cast member previews are June 27th to July 10th, though. So I'd
Oh,
imagine
so maybe we're the window in between.
exactly.
Oh, shoot.
Still thinking about a magnet trip, huh?
I really want my magnet.
We'll talk offline. Uh, but yeah, that's what it's speculated that the AP previews will sit in that like 12-day period before it
Mhm.
reopens. So that's exciting.
That is very exciting. Ben is going to be over the moon. I think he already knows because, we stay on top of this stuff, but he will be excited when January rolls around because that'll
Exactly.
be his opportunity.
Exactly. Speaking of reopenings, we have Stormalong Bay at the Yacht and Beach Club kind of suddenly reopened on the 17th of June.
Oh, I'm impressed because, like, it was looking rough last time we were there, which was what, February together?
Yes, that was in
It
February.
was looking really rough.
Yeah, they did a lot of work. I mean, they took it down right around marathon weekend,
Mhm.
and they did a lot of work on it, which I think that's why it was kind of surprising is that the slide still appears to be down, but the main pool area is open. So if you were considering staying at Yacht and Beach Club, mostly for that awesome, amazing pool, it has been spruced and spiffed up just for you. And Hurricane Hannah's, which is the pool bar, has also reopened.
Which, obviously it's called Hurricane Hannah's. I am a proponent. I've never been there, but we have to say that it's amazing
Yes, it is. It is
just
pretty good.
because of that.
True.
It is not spelled the same though, so.
Yeah, we'll let it slide. Speaking of closing things, though, is that the Boneyard at Animal Kingdom has a closing date.
I wish people could hear my frowny face.
September the 1st.
That's sad.
R.I.P. Sweet Prince.
Do you think they're gonna close the restaurant and snacks and all the just like go ahead and nix the area soon?
Um, because Dinosaur is not. I'm
Yeah,
wondering
dinosaur's still up, so I guess it
they
doesn't
want to
make
have some
sense.
more ways to obtain your dollars. So
Yeah.
on your way to get a snack. But I think Donald's Dino Bash and the Chipmunkasaur, I think they're next.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but like what if Chipmunkasaurus survive until one more Christmas Chipmunkasaurus? Probably not,
Oh. Mm.
but maybe. Then that is the true last time to see um
True, but
them and
what
their
if
little
they close
antlers.
it right before Halloween? Well, they would have to close it by August then, really, truly, because Halloween party, Mickey's Not So Scary opens. I was gonna say, what if they're gonna just go ahead and push those costumes into party costumes? But
Oh, also that's a good point because
mhm.
I wonder how much of that area they decorate for Christmas this year. Yeah, I wonder if they're not really gonna because I wonder how much of it'll be open. I think they'll probably still decorate back by Dinosaur, but for Christmas, but that just kind of made me think of like how much will be closed. Oh, that'll I had a lovely afternoon. I had some lovely time near the Donald's Dino Bash after the marathon this year, so I'd be kind of sad to see it go. I
Yeah.
mean, I know it's gonna go, but well, mm, I'm thinking like how much I mean, pretty much the whole area is going to be shut down. But like I think that like I was going to say by near where Cementosaurus, the big dinosaur, but he gone now, so I can't really like
Mhm.
use that as a reference point because like that doesn't like. But it's going to be all closed off. I think obviously it will be because they have to
Yeah.
transform it all. But that just kind of blew my mind a little because there is that path that you can take without ever entering Dino. Wow, shoot, whew. Thoughts and stuff just a lot of the brain synapses just went whoo um for a minute there.
Mm.
Dang. R.I.P. Sweet Prince. R.I.P. Boneyard and the Dino Dig. Speaking of holiday stuff, I don't think we talked at all about Oogie Boogie Bash stuff. I think that was definitely in the last couple weeks for the Disneyland Halloween party.
Oh yeah, I don't because we've been flying by the seat of our pants. I think we did miss that.
Oogie Boogie Bash is back. Not that we expected it not to be. I think, yeah. I think I think the surprise here that was in the last, it was probably more than a week to be honest with you, but was that ticket sales weren't a disaster.
Good
Maybe that was just a
improvement.
yeah, that was like a one-off of sorts where it was like a dumpster fire trying to get tickets for Oogie Boogie. I think that was in 22 and in 23. It was really, really hard to get the tickets. I think it was less of a dumpster fire this year.
Yeah. But there are tickets on select nights from August 17th to October 31st. Um, I do not remember if there's a pattern to which days, but it's August 17th, 19th, 21st, 24th, 26th, 28th, 31st, September 2nd, 9th, 11th, 14th, 16th, 18th, 21st, 23rd, 25th, 28th, 30th, October 2nd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 12th, 14th, 16th, 19th, 21st, 23rd, 26th, 28th, and 31st.
Notably absent is one that overlaps Halloween half marathon weekend.
They're so rude like that.
It's literally so rude. Because like you couldn't have even had one Thursday night. You know the crazies would have, or we nuttos would have absolutely done that and gone into the 5K. Not like I'm speaking from experience or anything. Uh,
It does seem like a wasted opportunity to me. I understand why they plan the races. We've discussed this many times. The races are on weekends that are like low attendance. However,
money.
you know how much we shell out for these races. They're not cheap. It is not financially sound. Why wouldn't you take advantage of us more and offer us a party date?
Mickey, you already got your hand in my pocket. You might as well just take the wallet. It's Mickey's money. It's Mickey's direct deposit. Tisk tisk. Back on the East Coast. There's not a festival this summer, as we discussed with the booths. A lot of the booths were gone last week, but there is a quasi festival at Disney Springs called the Flavors of Florida that'll occur from the 27th of June. I almost said July, to August 10th. There's festival specific food and drinks, and there is a foodie guide out there. Looks pretty cool if you're going to be down during that time. And wrapping up with some Disney Plus related news. So I guess I am hopping back to I'm going coast to coast again. There is a bunch of Disneyland Resort walkthrough attractions that are going to debut on Disney Plus next month, I believe on the 70th anniversary of Disneyland on July 17th. So get ready, folks. So they around, we didn't talk about this, but around May the 4th, they debuted a Rise of the Resistance ride along video on Disney Plus. But there are a lot more to come. So we have Pirates, Jungle Cruise, Indiana Jones, Haunted Mansion, Radiator Springs Racers / Cars Land in general, Main Street USA, Big Thunder Mountain, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, Pixar Pal Around, colloquially known as Mickey's Wheel of Death, Soarin' Around the World, Avengers Campus, Hollywoodland, Mickey's Toontown, and the Nighttime Spectaculars.
Very nice.
So, people on YouTube, the mouse is coming for you.
Yeah. I mean, not to compare the two again, but Universal has been offering their ride throughs for a while now.
Have they really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They have quite a few already that you can watch before you get there if you want to know what's up.
Like officially park sponsored, like
Yes.
Shrekaganda or interesting. I did not know
I
that.
don't know that they have all of them, but they have quite a few.
So that's what I could have maybe perhaps looked into before it was like a month before my trip, and I didn't realize that they had taken down Dueling Dragons. I'm gonna make fun of myself for that for the end till the end of time. I knew Hagrid's was new, and I just had no concept of where it was going to go, and I was like, I'm so excited for Dueling Dragons, and Maz was like, Natalie, that closed like 3 years ago. I'm like, what? I had no idea. So I'm going to continue to make fun of myself for that because they massacred my boy, the Dueling Dragons. Just kidding. I've never been on Hagrid's. I'd love to, but
Yeah. If you ever want to watch Velocis Coaster, they have one, a nighttime POV for that. They have one for Hagrid's. I'm checking right now. They've got Jurassic World Velocicoaster during the day. They've got the Hulk, Incredible Hulk. They have the Jurassic Park River Adventure. They have the Revenge of the Mummy from the front row.
I love the Mummy so much.
They have Rip Ride Rocket, again, front row.
Rip.
They've got the raft ride that I can't pronounce at Volcano Bay. Flight of the Hippogriff. They got all these things. They have 360 videos too, so it's not just like point of view. You can see like all the angles. They have a full playlist of 26 different videos at Universal.
They had something from Volcano Bay?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been to Volcano Bay, but
Supposedly really great.
I've heard it's fantastic, and I'm obviously a pool rat, so.
All right, so what's our fun fact today?
Okay. On this day in 1893,
Wow.
Roy Oliver Disney is born in Chicago, Illinois, a couple years before the Pope. The middle of 5 children, he, along with his younger brother Walt, started what is today the Walt Disney Company. Roy guided the business side of the Disney Company, leaving his brother, Walt, free to produce and create. Roy served as the president of Walt Disney Productions from 1945 to 1968 and chairman of the board from 1964 until his death in 1971. A modest man, it was Roy's idea to change the name of the Florida park from simply Disney World to Walt Disney World after the death of his brother in 1966. Married to Edna Francis in 1925, Roy was the father of Roy E. Disney. Today, there is a statue of Roy O. Disney seated on a park bench beside Minnie Mouse at the Town Square section of Main Street, USA, at the Magic Kingdom Park in Florida, and outside the Team Disney building at Disney's corporate headquarters in Burbank, California.
Wow.
That one felt important enough to read the whole blurb about it. I mean, really, Roy took up the helm when Walt died and made sure that the project continued on, and then he died like 3 months after Magic Kingdom opened. So
He really put it all into it.
Indeed, he did. But yeah, he really wanted to continue on the work that his brother had started and make sure that the Florida project had opened. So, also in 1994, The Lion King debuted.
Really?
Yeah, it was a summer one.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big one today.
Some heavy hitters for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, we've dawdled long enough. And it wasn't dawdling. All of this was quite fun, actually.
I thought you were going to say the word hoopla. I'm like, hoopla!
No, I was just, trying to come up with some elegant transition for our main topic. I'm never quite good at those. But, since it's not going to be elegant, I'm just going to go ahead and put our disclaimer out there early. This week, we're talking about fitness tech, and we just want to make sure everyone knows that this podcast is our hobby. We do not get paid. We have no sponsorships, no affiliation. No one has asked us to say anything, so we can say good, bad, whatever we want about the different fitness tech we use. If you have questions, we're happy to answer them. We'll be pretty bluntly honest about it.
Exactly.
I really hope this means that like Shocks or Apple or Garmin, we don't end up on their shit list, but
I'm going to go the way of Go-Go Squeeze. Throwback.
Oh.
Just kidding. We don't beef with Go-Go Squeeze. At least I don't.
I do not beef with them theoretically, but I do not like applesauce, so I fundamentally have a problem with your product.
Listen to the Hidden Gems episode for more context on that one.
Oh, we need to have Maz back.
Absolutely.
Okay, where do you want to start, Natalie?
I think let's start actually with like toys. And yeah, there could have
accessories. I'm gonna go with accessories.
Accessories. So for me, a lot of the like, okay, the biggest like toy I want to purchase, I want recovery boots. And I have not been smart enough to take advantage of hashtag Tony the Costco influencer when they have the recovery boots that are at Costco. I know he has influenced so many purchases, but they were when they've been on sale and I've missed the sale. But having used recovery boots that I don't own,
Mhm.
Those things are magic. Absolute magic. They
Do we
hurt like
think
a bee, but
Yeah. Do we think we can attribute my most recent PR to the compression boots?
it's the whole formula that you followed. It was the meeting with Jeff Galloway. It was the compression boots. You didn't get taped though, so maybe that's an
No,
option.
I don't really ever get taped, so
Oh, so that
I
might
wore tape my very first race in which I got injured. So, I
yoinks.
feel like the tape has opposite effects on me.
Yeah, that okay. Fair point. Uh,
And I followed my training program by Run Fit Mama.
true that.
Honestly, it was mostly that.
True.
Good training, accessories, fiddle faddle, all the things do not replace solid training, y'all.
Oh, absolutely. That is, yeah, you cannot out massage gun an injury, first of all. You cannot massage gun out a lack of training. You cannot massage gun out. Yeah, no. Do I love my massage gun? Also from Costco. And I would love to be sponsored by Costco. That'd be freaking awesome. For how
I
much
would
money I
also.
spend
My
there.
friends, my friends at like not run Disney, like people who don't run. We have had friends over and they'll be like, "Oh, where'd you get this? Where'd you get that? Costco. Where'd you get this? Costco. Where's that from? Costco." They're like, "Are you sure you don't work for Costco?" Yep, I wish.
Dude, the clothes at Costco, let me just side tangent for a second. Let me tell you how many outfits I have worn, like, fully from like, especially, like, work clothes, right? Like,
Mhm.
you wanna just refresh your summer couple, blouses, good quality blouses. I bought some of my stuff, like, years ago, and it still is holding up. I trust my marathons to my Costco leggings.
Wild. Yeah, I mean, speaking of like running attire, I have running shorts, biker shorts from them. If you're looking for like comfy loungy clothes to wear like post run as one does. Um they if you have heard of Viore, they're very expensive. Costco makes a dupe that is like 99.9% identical and it costs like I don't know $12 versus like 115 or something. And I love them. They make great stuff. And it's not like it's like cheap and it falls apart. It lasts.
Yeah, and some of it's name brand too, like
Oh
whenever
yeah.
there's Banana Republic, Mr. Natalie goes wild. He's like, "Oh, time to refresh the work shirts if there's some good Banana Republic ones."
Yeah. We just got Ben a few different Hurley like
Mm,
golf shirts and then some like generic golf shirts and stuff. So we would have some new polos for work.
mhm.
And they are good.
Yeah, love.
So good that I caught one of my coworkers wearing the exact same shirt at the office this week.
We do that too, where like the head of HR and I wore the exact same Costco shirt. It was a Costco Banana Republic pink blouse. I was like,
Mhm.
"Hey!" She's like, "Did you get it from Costco?" I'm like, "I got it from Costco." The exact same
Oh.
one. Where it's like whenever
Costco is its own cult. We're in the Disney cult. There's a crossover. Disney cult, Costco cult.
Exactly, exactly. I do love my massage gun though. When I don't have recovery boots and it's like trying to do my little PR ritual when I like your wish version of your PR
Mhm.
ritual. I do like a nice long massage out on my legs. I listen to Jeff Galloway on a podcast and then I tape myself. So it's what you got to do. I would say Kirkland brand, but as we just discussed, Kirkland brand is amazing. So
Yeah.
that's not a dig, but
Costco takes their brand seriously. Yeah, I also have a massage gun. Mine is the like Therabody fancy schmancy one. It was gifted to Ben for Christmas by his brother. So we did not shell out for the fancy schmancy one, but we do happen to have it. And all the little like attachments and all that jazz and a carrying case and the whole shebang. And it is very nice. We have brought it with us to marathon weekend and to Princess. Any race weekend Ben and I have done together. We keep it ready and available at home. And it is similar to the massage boots, the recovery boots, it is also painful at times, but it's also very satisfying. And as long as you're not ticklish, which Ben is very ticklish, and I have to do his hamstrings for him. He's just too ticklish. He can't do it himself. So I have to do those for him. Yeah.
When we say that the boots can be painful, do you have like a description of what that feels like?
So it's like your whole leg is inside of a blood pressure cuff.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows what that feels like as long as you have been to a doctor ever in your life that you remember. You've had your blood pressure taken. Basically, your entire leg is in a giant blood pressure cuff with controlled zones. And the very first time you use it is very it can take you by surprise. Like I've
Yeah.
obviously heard it from Natalie, so like I was like, okay, what it's like, but no one can prepare you for the level. So the very first time it like inflates to full capacity was a little disconcerting is maybe the way to put it. I was like, because it's just like the blood pressure cuff when it keeps going. You're like, I think this is supposed to stop.
We're good.
We're good. It keeps going. But then after you've gone, it goes through multiple cycles. It doesn't just stay at that pressure the whole time. It like
Mhm.
goes down, it goes back up. That's what she said. And it um it's less uncomfortable the more times you kind of get used to it and realize, and depending on like what kind you get, some of them you can control the level of pressure up and down and all kinds of things. So if you've got money to splash out, go wilds. But otherwise they are not necessary. You could do what Natalie and I do and schedule your life around the expo.
Yeah, they do have it at every single expo pretty much. They have at least one vendor that has the boots, the Therabody boots. There's the other one, and it's the name is escaping me that we have been going to the last couple times.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which is bad because they also I liked theirs a lot,
I did
possibly
too.
more than I like the Therabody.
They work the
And
feet.
yeah, because they do the whole thing. And also, I'm sure Therabody also does this. I don't, this probably isn't a unique factor, but they let you use HSA money to
I
pay
know,
for them,
which is
which is
great.
wild considering I had to get a medical note to buy my treadmill, but I can buy these super schmancy boots that are definitely not necessary without it.
All right, I have a question there, but that's a whole other topic. But yeah, the feeling of taking them off the first time. So the first time I ever did them was in my Goofy to Dumbo extravaganza, and I decided to go back to the expo on Saturday. Um, did the boots, and this is again 6 days post marathon. I left it. First of all, I was like gripping, I was like holding on to the seat that I was sitting in, like, oh my God. Because it's uncomfortable. But
Hmm.
I like woke up. No, I did not nap. I got up. I was like, I feel like I didn't run a marathon a week ago.
Which is wild.
Wild. Like I was like, what is this feeling? So sudden and new.
Hmm.
But it was like I remember walking out of there almost like a baby deer and like a little fawn, like that just learning to walk. I'm like, "What is this? Sorcery, magic, nonsense." And then I PR'd the next day again. And I remember just being in absolute awe because I still like obviously remember this of like I feel like I have new legs that didn't just do the damage I just did to my legs over the last week. So definitely recommend trying them out at one of the expos, not just at Disney. I think a lot of well, I guess I can't promise that per se, but um, check out your different expos at your local races and maybe not your like locals, but bigger races, and see if they have them available, especially before you splurge on them. I think the Costco ones are, I think when they're on like deep discount, it's like $140 for them. I think they're normally like 180. Tony
Mhm.
will correct me because he is the Costco influencer for the sharper image recovery boots. That one I can remember. Can I remember the other one? No, I can't. But
Sharper image is burned into my brain from our childhood, so
true that. But I'm trying to think if there's any kind of other like smart tools like for recovery like that.
Mhm.
Perhaps above my pay grade, but um I sometimes when my plant or when my feetsies are acting up, I just use a ball, but there's probably like a techie ball that you can you can have. Maybe. I don't know.
Probably. I don't know.
Probably.
We have a couple of like how do I describe this without it sounding weird? Um so you know how there's like rollers,
Yeah.
massage rollers, they make balls for a variety of sizes.
Yes.
They also make vibrating ones.
Yes. Ooh.
We have those.
I understand why you said that was going to be weird.
Vibrating balls. We are but children. But
It's okay. We're still in our 20s.
they are very helpful. I enjoyed those quite a bit as well. They do. I don't know what if there's any scientific backing for them, but they feel nice. Natalie, get yourself together.
I'm mature. Immature. um, maybe let's head on to the phone. After
Okay.
we've played with our vibrating balls, and let's talk about some different like technology in the world of apps that we can use.
Mhm. Deep breaths, man. All right, so there's a lot of like third-party app options.
Mhm.
And there's also a lot of apps depending on what fitness tracker you choose. So for some context, Natalie and I are in different camps. We always have been. But now we're on opposite sides of the battlefield, apparently. Because I have an Apple Watch and Natalie has a Garmin.
I do. I do. I love her. And I was a Team Fitbit before that, before Fitbit went to poop.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. Sweet Prince. Missed you. Actually, I don't really miss him or miss him anymore. I like the
But
Garmin.
yeah, so tell us a little bit about the Garmin that you have, I guess, or the app that comes with Garmin, or, you know.
So, I have a Garmin Forerunner 265S. I got it in October of 2024 when my Fitbit finally irritated me enough and pooped out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was done. I wasn't getting any stats off of it that I needed. It was like made up stat. I can't even describe like it was like translating things to kilometers, but still saying it was in miles. It was bizarre, wild. I was like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
done with this. But anyway, I absolutely love my Garmin. There's a ton of data that I can get out of it, but I guess I'm going to focusing on the app itself right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to pretend that I use all the capabilities of the app if I'm being real with you, because I'm still learning all the different capabilities of the app.
I think everyone feels that way about their smartwatch. Like, I've had an Apple Watch now, not just the one I have, but like a different one as well for almost a decade, and I still don't think I know all the things that it can do.
It's crazy how much stuff and how much data is on here. Like I've now been introduced to, I had done some of the challenges before,
Mm-hmm.
which were, it's just like, for example, this upcoming weekend, there is June weekend 10K. And you can just, if
Ooh.
you complete 6.2 miles during the weekend, you get that badge. And like the badges are cute and stuff. Or there's Active June, which you have to do 20 activities in June. Or 2025 running, which like I think the goal is to get to like 750 almost miles, and then they break it up into 4 chunks over the year.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm in a challenge with friends, and that has been really interesting because um it is a little bit motivating in a way to like, it's not like I don't go out of my way. I still refuse to go out of my way to do something just for a stat. Like I'll do it
Mm-hmm.
for the plot, but not for just a statistic, not just to like, But it's kind of nice, like when I'm on like a struggle bus run, as most of them are when it's humid AF.
Mhm.
I'm like, well, this will put me a little bit higher on the leaderboard. Uh, it's like a little like extra, like, oh yeah, this will add up and it will like put me a little higher on the leaderboard. It'll give me some more steps because I'm in a steps
Mhm.
challenge and a running challenge. So that's been a little helpful. Again, I won't go out of my way to like I'm very passionate about no junk miles. Um, like I'm not just going to do the mileage just to hit like no junk. I run
Mhm.
enough as is. Probably could run a little more, but like, you know, like I don't need to just do filler miles just to like hit a stat. But that's been kind of nice. I think some of the features that besides like the social features of it that I have been
Mhm.
enjoying before this like last month. Um, well, something that I haven't really tried yet, but I'd like to is so I have the Chicago Marathon like built into here, and it does
Mhm.
give me a workout that I ignore every single day. I mean, like I look at it, but
You have a
I'm
training
training.
plan from a coach
Yeah, I
still.
have a training plan from a coach. So I ignore this one, but I always look at what it has to offer. Because like when it tells you to do strength, they actually like, have exercises for you to do. I haven't looked into it that closely because I have a coach that
Mhm.
I work with. But I think some of the stats and data of I call my Garmin my favorite hater
Mhm.
because she is rude sometimes. Me talking about how much I love my Garmin. She's rude. Um, Sometimes like the race prediction. So this was the first season I worked with a Garmin, so it's kind of biased in terms of like what how accurate I think it is. I exceeded the race, meaning I went faster than my Garmin's race predictor because she's rude and she's a hater.
Yeah, but you thought that the prediction was lofty before.
I did. I did think that what it was predicting for me was like, whoa, like that's kind of crazy. I don't know if I'm going to hit that. And then I went even faster than that. And then as soon as I finished the marathon, it goes, just kidding. And it knocks off another 20 minutes. I'm like, get, go home. Go home, you rude ass bee. Like, what? Anyway, now she's hurting my feelings too because it's hot, so I've been taking my runs as I should, trying to focus on heart rate. So I've been taking them slower. It's an hour off of my goal time right now. An hour. She's rude. Rude. Anyway, but I do like some of the stats where like the different production, or that's what set me off, is that I was looking at when it was like, you're overtraining, which it loves to tell me that in the middle of like Adobe Sim, where it's like, settle down. I'm like, I can't. First of all, as my personality, I can't. But secondly, I have a sim. Like it's like, consider taking a rest day. I'm like,
No.
can yes,
I
but
have
also
3 more
no.
days of this.
Like yes, but also no. I really do love the stats that I get from the gar. I love I like the way it sets out my laps, like different charts. It's really cool to see. Like it'll show me my like run walk ratios.
Mhm.
It's very, and like especially when it's nice and even, it makes me happy. Um, or if at all I'm idle, like different like heart rate zones, um, my ground contact time,
Mhm.
temperature. I don't know. It's a lot of cool stuff. I could put my gear in there, but I prefer to track that manually on a spreadsheet. Um, let's see what else. What other data do I like on this? Because like as much as like I get sometimes annoyed by like waking up to you are this ready for training. I do think it's right sometimes where it almost I had like some sickness over the last couple of weeks that I think I'm ready to be done talking about. But or I think it kind of like when I saw like my my heart rate variability status kind of go out of whack,
Mhm.
before I knew I was sick. I was like, that's weird. That's lower than it is. It's not out of balance, but it's lower than it is. And it kind of, and then like then like a day and a half later, I'm like, I felt terrible. And I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
that's what that is. So it is kind of helpful as much as I call it a hater and I tell it that it's being rude. I do think that a lot of the trends and stuff that it detects are helpful. Um, And yeah, trying to think of I like the interface on the app itself. I finally have figured out to mute the things I need muted
Mm.
in the middle of a run so that they don't.
That was your biggest pet peeve when you did try Apple, was that you didn't know how to do that. And I told you it was possible, but you were like, "Meh."
Okay, it wasn't even that part. It was that I didn't like how when I was trying to track my intervals on my watch, I didn't like, and this was probably because I was using an older Apple Watch.
Mhm.
I didn't like how I didn't like how it looked, and I didn't like how I always had to tap it to wake it, but then that might pause it, and then I don't know. It was
Yeah.
probably also again using older technology, but it was enough to like I'm like if I don't like this, I'm out.
Mhm.
Like
Not a problem anymore because they've got the always on faces,
yeah,
but
the one I was using, so I probably didn't give it that fair of a shake. But I also
you were using like an Apple Watch 2 or
3, I
something.
think, yeah,
3.
because it was just like trying it out while like my Fit or I like had a problem with my Fitbit. Um, and I liked pretty much everything else, but I did not like that. And
Yeah.
that was an important thing to not like about it. But I do quite love my Garmin. It's it's a great little tool. And I do quite like the app and everything that I can get out of it. I think I can plug in like suggested routes too if I want to. That would involve me going out with a plan, which I don't. Um, or like you can also like kind of recalibrating. I think I have to recalibrate it every time I run on the treadmill.
Mm.
Or I at least do because somebody told me that I should. It's
Yeah.
just not a good way to approach things. But I was like, yeah, like I was like, I pretty much just always like recalibrate when I don't run on the treadmill often though. So
I just accept that my watch is never going to match the treadmill. And I'm okay with that. I would rather have my watch match my outdoor runs than my treadmill, which I trust because my treadmill is new.
yeah, that's fair. Well, is yours a separate feature on yours to do treadmill?
No.
Oh,
So Apple doesn't have any way of differentiating. I mean, yes, there's indoor and outdoor runs, so technically I can also look at that. But there is no like in Garmin, if your run is off, right? Your watch says you ran 3 miles, but the treadmill says you ran 3.5, then you can fix that afterwards and like update it and say, no, I actually ran 3.5
mm,
miles. You can't do that with Apple. So that is I can't believe a feature that they haven't fixed, because it's not even something that they have to do with like the equipment, the hardware. It's a software problem. Um but no, they just differentiate between indoor and outdoor runs. But indoor could be like on an indoor track, or indoor could be on a treadmill or whatever. Uh, so yeah.
I'm making a face because again, I don't know enough about this watch. I don't know the difference between virtual run and treadmill. Um, oh, 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 neat. It's like if you want to connect it to like a virtual training application. That's cool. I
Mm,
learned something today. But yeah, there's
neato.
ton of stuff. We both South Parked there for a second. Butters says Nito, and I think Kyle and Stan will go, I learned something today.
But yeah, I really like my Apple Watch because I am part of the Apple ecosystem. I have a laptop, MacBook Pro, I have an iPad, I have my iPhone, I have AirPod Pros, I have even my work laptop is an Apple now. And so I'm fully immersed, and I just like the integration at this point. I have thought about the Garmin, but for what I need and for my lifestyle, the Apple Watch is great. There's also a ton of other features that are not running late related that we will not cover today that I love. But yeah, on like runs and walks, you get your workout time. There's a difference between your workout time and the elapsed time. So elapsed time is like the whole time. It's similar to like active idle or whatever the two categories are for you.
Mhm.
Distance, active calories, total calories, your average cadence, so that's steps per minute, pace, heart rate, and then it has a like effort. It like guesses basically what it thinks your effort was based on how your heart rate and such was during the run, but it actually asks you at the end. So if you disagree, like say you're, I don't know, like your heart rate's not very bad and it's a shorter run, but like you just don't feel good. Sometimes your heart rate doesn't match the way you feel. That's just something that happens when like after a while, you'll know if you've been running for long enough. Like sometimes the stats don't match what's going on in your head or like your legs or whatever. So you can adjust the effort um, after your run. You get your splits with your time, your pace, your heart rate, as well as cadence. And then you get a whole heart rate map that's all color coded and snazzy. And then they track your heart rate after you're done with your workout for the last 2 minutes,
Ooh.
because that's supposed to be a good gauge of like how far did your heart rate fall and how quickly in the 2 minutes after is like a sign of recovery, apparently. And then it tracks if it's outdoor, what the temperature was, what the humidity was, what the air quality was, what the dew point was, the map for it, all that stuff. And then there's also, I don't know where it is, but I do know that there's like ground contact time and all that stuff um, available. Because there's also a feature in Apple, like with an Apple Watch, that if you, so say you have like a regular route, right? Like you always run around this one park and you do it this many times. Your Apple Watch will know that you've run it before and you can like virtually race yourself from a previous run.
Oh, so it does segments kind of like Strava.
Kinda, yeah, like it knows that you've done that and then it compares and is like, oh yeah, I did so well. Like you did this much faster than last time you did it, or yeah, kind of like that. And then I also, because I'm so fully integrated into the Apple ecosystem, I actually have Apple Fitness. So I also
Ooh.
have all of the like workouts and stuff. So outside of my plans with Kristen, if I wanted to do anything else, I also have access to like a huge catalog of workouts, from meditations to like HIIT workouts, strength, yoga, core, Pilates, dance, kickboxing. I think that's newer. Cycling, treadmill, rowing. I like rowing. And then they do like, they put things together into like training plans and samplers and things for beginners. And they have like, if you're pregnant, they got a whole, what is it, prenatal
Yeah. Ooh.
thing. But I really do like that. It also gives you badges and awards and stuff. So you've got like the standard stuff. You'll get a badge if you do a 5K. You get a badge if you do a 10K, half, marathon. I don't think there's anything beyond marathon, because then it's ultras, and ultras can be any distance. Um, Past marathon, we also get there's like random ones for, obviously you've got your rings on Apple Watch, which are
Mm-hmm.
the move ring, your stand ring, and your exercise ring. So exercise is like a much higher threshold than movement, for like your heart rate has to get up to count as an exercise minute. And so there's all kinds of themed rings. There's themed badges for doing different kinds of workouts. Like I say on the cusp of getting my 1,000th move goal closed.
Ooh.
There's also monthly challenges. So every single month it like looks at what your stats have been for the previous month and makes a recommended random goal. So it's not always about like running. Like this month, mine's really silly and sad because I haven't done anything basically in June or May. And all I had to do was hit my stand goal 9 times. So I hit that.
Nice.
But if I look back at like January, when I was really trained up because I'd been training for dopey, um, even then I still feel like it was kind of a low goal. I've had some pretty hard months before, but that one was hitting my exercise goal 7 times in a month, and I hit it in the first week, second week. I hit it by the 13th, so because of dopey, I hit it.
Oh, that old boy.
uh because once you hit it, it doesn't like keep tracking. So like I'd have to go back and look, see how many times I actually closed it that month. But yeah, they make different recommendations, and then my every year I've had the goal of trying to close more monthly goals than the previous year. I don't know if I'm on track this year, but we'll see. And then there's like, if you do 200 300 times as much as your goals, and there's tons of different badges. They do ones for holidays too. So like on International Yoga Day, you can get a special yoga badge, and
Yeah, I
on
love that.
International Running Day, you get a running badge, and they're different every year, and they've got a whole graphic design team. So that's exciting.
When I do my sprint through the Atlanta airport, I got a
Hmm.
badge for being a night owl because I recorded an activity so late.
They have something similar to that for Apple. But yeah, I think with the actual like watch itself, if we go outside the app, what I like is I have an Apple Watch Ultra actually, which is still not getting me anywhere near Garmin territory with battery life, but it gets me 2 full days, which means I can charge it every other day, or I can charge it for a little bit every single time I take a shower, and then I never really have to think about it, which is, I think, a good way of going about it. And um, there used to just be like the touch screen basically and your dial on the other like tens and like all the other numbered ones. But the Apple Watch Ultra has an action button, which is similar to like a Garmin or a old fashioned stopwatch where you hit like start stop, which allows for like precision start stop with races, which I appreciate. But you can also custom program that button to do whatever you want outside of a workout, to like quick open any app on the watch, which I really, really like. I mean, to be honest, like for running, it serves exactly the purpose I want. I can create custom interval workouts, which is what I've done before I got my gym boss. I used to like program in, I want to do a 10-minute walk warm up. Then I would say I want to do like, I don't know, I'd put in some crazy number like 99 interval cycles of 60, 30 running, walking, and the running would be the working interval and the walking would be the rest or whatever. And then I could just quit that part of the workout whenever I finished my mileage, and then it would go
Hmm,
into the cool down, and then it would all be like together, and it would buzz, like the whole watch buzzes when the work intervals end, so you know and don't have to look, which was nice.
that is nice. I'm sure
And the
there's a
battery made it
future.
all the way through the marathon, so that's all I needed.
That is clutch.
Which is something a lot of people with like I don't want to say standard, but like the main line of Apple Watches do struggle with figuring out how to make their watch battery last that long. Especially if you're back of the pack. If you're fast, then maybe you don't worry about that. But if it's cold in January and you are back of the packer, you're probably turning off your screen and putting it in movie mode.
Brutal. I think I'm trying to remember how my battery life was. I know that it might have been a long run, and it was one of my 20, I think it was either 23 or 20 or my 24, where I ran, I think it took 18% of my battery over a 5 hour run. It might have been the marathon.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was something like where I was like, oh my God, that was
Yeah.
crazy.
The Garmin lasts forever.
Yeah, it's so nice how long it lasts. Where yeah, I like never take it off pretty much. But so like it's
Mm-hmm.
one of those where like I'm like, I need to get one for my desk at work so that I can just like plug
Mm.
it in there. But even just
Yeah.
like when I sit here, I mean, I was sitting and letting mine charge while we've been recording, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll be good. Or like when I sit and edit,
Yeah.
I'm good then from there. So it's definitely nice. And it's crazy like just how much data you get out of this. And like I don't know. I am like, it's funny because I'm like, yeah, the tech, and but there's certain things I'm kind of boomery about. And the way that Hannah's going George Washington with her ponytail right now, and I'm a little distracted. That's okay. Remember when you used to like flip your hair in the pool and like look like
Yes.
George Washington, like a founding father? Um, and I do like interval wise, I just do the math and I look because it reminds me of swimming, and like it's just like that's like a comfort thing. It's like, oh, like I have 30 seconds from here to, and I have to know that I go on the 30 on the 30 or
Mm-hmm.
on the 15 on the whatever. Um that and also like my data. Um I also put in a spreadsheet as we talk about
Love a spreadsheet.
we love a spreadsheet here, but my lovely spreadsheet, just because there's certain different aspects of the data I like to pick through, and you know I count walks toward obviously my training, especially when you're training for
Mhm.
dopey.
Hey, it
And
adds up.
A, it adds up. B,
I
it's
had almost
wearing.
like 200 miles of walking from last year.
Oh yeah,
So, it's a lot.
it adds up. It's wear and tear on your shoes. It's mileage. Um, whether you hop, skip, jump, crawl, like it's mileage. Um, so but it also like differentiates itself in the Garmin app.
Oh.
Like I mean, it'll say like your walking miles versus your running miles. Because it like has and like I have them. Of course, they have different colors because of course it's color coded. In my app, but it'll say like what my different mileage is. So, um, in order for me to tally up, I prefer to also then pop it into the spreadsheet as well. There's a kitty here too, so now I distract because she's cute. Um, but yeah, I quite like it's funny how much data you can get from something and like again our free sport with like all of our gadgets and stuff. Um,
It's not free. It's very expensive.
But, you know, when you get a good watch, like I feel like a lot of people, well, I was on Team Fitbit, and Fitbits, I think, are like genetically, or they are not genetically because they're not alive, but they are engineered to break at the 18 to 24 month mark. They are like, actually, no, it's like 15 to 18 usually because it's like when you're just outside your warranty for it.
Mhm.
My last Fitbit actually lasted quite a long time. I think it lasted 2, if not almost 3 years. No, it was about 2 years, which was pretty good for a Fitbit before it started pooping out on me. But, um, I feel like a lot of people say that their Garmin's last, like, 5 or so, and then usually it's, like, not like it's broken, it's more of a, "I want more data out of it," because that was my fight with myself about what model to get. I'm like, "Okay, you need to, like, prove to," it's like a child. "You need to prove to yourself you're gonna use this, like, the data out of this one," which was expensive enough. I mean, I paid and you can definitely get better deals on like Black Friday or whatnot. But I think I paid $450 and then I actually had a work reimbursement for it. So that was awesome. Like wellness reimbursement. And I didn't even get like they're definitely way higher level like Garmin's you can get. But I'm like, you need to prove to yourself, you need to prove to me that you're gonna use the data out of this one. And like all like $450 of the data. Um and so far so good, and I'm not in my final form yet in terms of like what I'm getting out of it, and I love it. Um, but yeah, it's like a little computer on your wrist.
It's literally a little computer on your wrist.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay, before I jumped us straight into watches, we were talking about apps. And there are some third-party apps, which Natalie, I know you have strong feelings about at least one of them. I'm gonna name a few and purposely leave that one to the end. But so there's Runkeeper. A lot of people use that to track their runs. You can just have that on your phone. So if you're not interested in a wearable device such as a watch or a ring, something I'll mention later, um, that's a good option. Map My Run, also very popular. Again, offers like route mapping, distance, real time stats, similar to what we talked about with our watches. And both, I think, offer some like customizable slash personalized training plan options as well. And all of them are like like you can get them in the App Store for Android or Apple or what Google or Pixel or whatever the other ones are. There's also Training Peaks, like I said, which has that's more like in-depth analysis and like you can get a training plan. Like you can either get like if you're looking for a coach, Training Peaks is a good place to look for a coach if you are not team like Galloway or Run Fit Mama for whatever reason. There's also Runna, Runna, which has been getting a lot more popular. I've been seeing a
Yeah,
lot of ads. A lot of people have been talking about it. It is owned by the one that Natalie doesn't like. It is owned by Strava.
we beef.
But it is, yeah, it basically puts together training plans for whatever race you have coming up. You tell it sort of like your goals, the distance, all that jazz, and it like put something together for you. I haven't used it, so I really can't talk about it in depth. If you want to hear about that app or you've used it and you want to tell us about it on the pod, please let us know. We'd love to hear. But that one's pretty popular. And then obviously, like I said, Strava. Strava is like the social media of running, biking, swimming, basically triathlon. um, but it is very, very popular with runners. And it's kind of like Instagram meets running
LinkedIn.
because yeah, meets LinkedIn because you like have you yeah, you have friends, you have a profile, it's got your stats, you post activities about like if you do a run, you can what I have is it automatically uploads anything I run because it's just synced with my watch. And then but you can go back in and like add a picture and you can tell it all that stuff of like what your effort was. You can track your shoes. That's how I track my shoes because I don't want to have it in a spreadsheet. And since my watch is synced, all my stuff goes in there. I just have to remember if I'm using multiple different shoes to go in and update those because I have a default shoe that's like my most of the time training shoe, so it's mostly accurate. But if I use a speed shoe or a race shoe or something and I'm trying something else out, or if I have multiple shoes in rotation, you have to like go in and tell that because it has no way of no, it doesn't just know what shoes magically you're wearing. How do you feel about Strava, Natalie? There's quite a culture around it. And I think that's why you don't like it, not because of the functionality.
Yes, it's the Strava culture. Like, I compared it to LinkedIn.
Yeah, I don't like LinkedIn. I mean, who does really?
I
Boomers.
mean, okay. I do kind of it's kind of cool to see different people's career progressions, but when people
Mhm.
treat it like a Facebook, that's when I don't like it.
Yeah.
Um, like, I just dropped a new last name in there. I mean, I have both my names in there, but I it's Strava culture of is what I definitely dislike because I'm very self-competitive, but I don't necessarily like need everybody in my business. And like the
Yeah.
like or like I don't know. I am hard enough on myself and again, this is a me v me thing. I'm hard enough on myself as is without there being external pressure to be like, "Oh my god, I ran so slow today." Like, okay, first of all, settle down. Secondly, like, right, like it's hot, like I don't without there being just that additional pressure of, "Oh, everyone's going to see this." And not
Mm.
that I think anyone really cares cuz like if I see someone's stats, do I A remember them? B care? No.
It's pretty
No.
similar to Instagram. Do I remember every post that I've ever liked? No.
Do I remember every weird meme I've sent? No, and that's why I send them twice, often, sometimes thrice. But, it's like one of those it's the culture around it where, like that I just personally don't like, I don't know.
There's the if it's not on Strava, did it happen vibes?
Yes.
Uh
I think my biggest thing with it, this might get me a little heat, so again, as I always say, remember there's an apostrophe in O'Malley, is "Oh, my Strava said I ran it in this time."
mhm.
That sets me bonkers. No. I don't know. It's just like kind of like oh well like I actually like no like what the course says is what you actually did.
Mhm.
Um because obviously like with like these sophisticated watches and GPSs and whatnot, like it's picking up some of your side to side movements too.
Mhm.
And that's how you end up like it's not that Disney didn't measure the course correctly, it's that you weaved around people and that
Yeah,
is
you
not running
genuinely
tangents.
ran more than 26.2 miles.
Yes, it's not a conspiracy to sweep you. It's that you don't run the tangents. I mean, even pros don't run necessarily always, or they try to keep on the tangent, but they don't always necessarily run it. And they have open road. They are only dodging each other. Who are
Mhm.
also all trying to be on the tangent. So it's the culture behind Strava. And like maybe okay, I was almost when they did the Strava Wrapped last year, like
Mhm.
they do like how
You could even
Spotify
get
run.
a custom bottle partnered with the feed.
So that almost had me do a little thinky think about it. Um it had me almost like, "Oh, okay." Because like, I guess I could always just okay, but then what's the point of having yet another app to work off of if I'm gonna keep everything private? Just because I don't want that I don't wanna place the pressure on myself because I already place enough pressure on myself. I'm basically a diamond over here. That's why I like Dopey so much because pressure makes diamonds and I be a diamond. Um, without the
Wow, that was
external.
loaded.
Yeah. Yeah, I therapied you last week, you therapied me this week. But, like, it's just, like, there's enough I put enough pressure on myself without the extra without, like, another layer of, like, "Oh, is that embarrassing?" Okay, again, do I ever, ever, ever think, "Ooh," at somebody else's run? I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you go, girl." Like,
Is now a good time for me to tell you that I created a Strava group for the podcast?
love that.
So if you wanna join, I guess Natalie won't be there, but I will.
Love that. And I love, like, a supportive community. Like, I think maybe my frosty, cold heart based on even the Garmin challenges where obviously it's just like people who I'm actually friends with. I have everything pretty locked down, so we have to
Mhm,
actually be friends and for me to add you. So when
mhm.
I get random ones, like I don't no go. That's warming on my frosty heart and like trying to be like, okay, it's okay to like just like have an activity and like nobody is actually like looking at your straw. Like nobody's actually going to look at it beyond just like, oh, cool, you did that. Awesome, good for you. Right? Like nobody cares because you don't care. Of course, I don't care. Like I'm just happy for people when they get out there. So maybe my frosty heart by like 2027 will be open to it. And maybe culture.
We'll welcome you with open arms.
But also there was the Sad Girls Track Club that, Molly and Izzy Seidel,
Mm,
that almost kind of, like, tempted me a little bit of, like, to, like, join Strava a couple
mhm.
years ago when that was getting started, but
Another good reason to join Strava, especially if you have a good friend group. Like if your friend group is small and you only are friends and see like a few other people and you don't like go wild, then it can be very, very good. But is they do challenges as well, and their challenges are often sponsored
ooh,
by companies. So like I get a discount code every quarter from the feed because I finish a exercise challenge that gets me, I don't know, however much off. It's called sponsored by the feed. And then there's usually like I've gotten discount codes for from different companies for running equipment and for obviously the feed is like whatever fuel you need, but Shocks has done them where you get entered into a drawing for a pair of headphones. And so I like doing it just so I can maximize my opportunity for free things.
alright, so this I did not know about, I'm still stubborn enough to I still need some
You
time
could
to
enter the
warm.
challenges and not let anyone see your runs. You could just be private and still enter
Somebody has to see
challenges.
them, right?
I mean, the people at the company who know you entered into it
Yeah.
will know that you
I'm
put
not
in
that
an
weird about my
entry.
data. For someone who has a
And
podcast.
technically, your profile has those like badges you earn from the challenges or trophies listed on your page. But like, if no one can see your page,
I think about it. I'll think about it.
hard
Maybe.
sell. Okay.
Yeah, it's the culture behind it. I'll get over it eventually, maybe. Maybe.
Well, I mentioned shocks.
Yeah, you did.
Let's talk headphones. What's your headphone evolution? Because we're both team shocks now. But how'd we
Um
get there? At least.
Throwback to wired headphones. Just wanted to bring that up for fun.
Some
Um
people still use them. I keep a backup pair for like really bad situation where it's my only option and I need them.
well, I use them for my work laptop because my pods decide that they just don't want to work with this sometimes. So I'm like, okay, here we go. Wire. But I do keep a pair of those, but like it's just that I don't have a headphone jack anymore.
Mhm.
Um it started there. My first wireless pair of headphones were a pair of JBL headphones that I won sometime in college.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I loved those. Like I'm talking
People
like
talk have good reviews of them.
I don't know if it was, I don't even remember like how I got them. Like I know that it was like something I won some sort of prize for them. It
Mhm.
was awesome though. I had them for a couple years. And then I remember the one of the earpieces came off. I think it was when I was in Washington D.C. It was before, because it was before my first Princess, and I was
Mhm.
actually out on a run. And then I think, or I was coming back from the gym because my now husband and I would go to the Anytime Fitness that wasn't too far from him, and like one of the earpieces came off. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to go searching the streets of Roslyn, Virginia for this earpiece, so I'm going to either try to replace it, but I ended up replacing the headphones. Um, so RIP in peace, red JBL headphones. After that, I went on to uh I had a pair of like the Target heyday like wireless ones, and then I finally
Okay.
got my first pair of AirPods, life-changing AirPods. I That was something, I mean, maybe okay, my frozen heart could be thawed because I remember I was like team like I don't get it with
Mm.
AirPods, and then I got AirPods and I was able to like take my trash out and still be listening to my phone upstairs on
Mhm.
the 3rd floor. Cleaning my apartment at the time, without having while still listening to my things in my ear clear as day, life changing. Um, I got aboard Team Shocks. Also, I think there's a pattern here of
Mhm.
I win I win a competition, and I won a we had a health benefits fair at my job, and they had a bunch of vendors come in, and like the more you talked to the different vendors, and there was a lady from Fleet Feet there, so I was just sitting there talking to her for a little while,
Mm.
and I like talked to all the different ones, and you get these little tickets. So I strategized my tickets because they had a pair of Shocks there, and
Mhm.
I put like 20 tickets in for the Shocks, and I put
Mhm.
like I spread a couple other ones in some other places, but I won the headphones,
Nice.
and that was in fall of 23. And I remember like going out before my first run with them and being like, this is weird the way that this fits on my head. Now I don't notice it, but
Yeah.
life changing. Like,
Yeah.
again, it was one of those like I was a little less resistant to it, but like I was like, oh, I kind of like what how did like I think I was a little skeptical of the bone conducting
Mhm.
aspect of it because it
I
sits
think most
outside of your
people
ear.
are.
And I was like, how do you actually hear? And I remember being out on a run. I was listening to Rise and Run. And it was like I think it was actually, I was on a long run. And I was like, what is this magic that's happening where I can hear everything? Like,
It's
it's so good.
it's very similar to the same sensation you get the first time you use a wireless. Like, do you remember from your first wireless pair of like, whoa,
Yeah. Like, I
like that
don't have,
same like awe, like what the heck?
yeah. I absolutely
Mhm.
love my Shocks. Um, they're so, because like I use like, and sometimes like when my mom or my husband will call me when I'm out on a run, like they don't like say like, oh, you have weird audio quality. Like I
No,
don't,
the mic is good.
it's good. Oh yeah,
Way
yeah,
better
you
than
and I
my
have caught,
AirPods.
yeah.
My AirPod mics, trash.
Yeah. And I was like, "Wait, you've called me. You've also called me
Mhm.
on a run
I have.
before." And it's like, wow, like dang, that's a really good microphone. I love them.
Yeah, they are outstanding. I have also been through many iterations. I haven't had wired headphones though since probably college, honestly.
Yeah, same.
Um, maybe right after college, but basically I haven't. Then I had what were my very first I don't know what my very first pair were, but the first ones I remember, which is what's important,
True.
are the I had the Power Beats
Oh,
Pro, the
yeah.
ones with the ear hook, the wireless ones with an ear
Ooh.
hook. Um, and I loved them. I was so afraid of when they finally busted, which actually they didn't last as long as I had hoped they would, considering, they cost basically the exact same amount as AirPods.
Damn.
um, so in my mind, like they should last a good, I don't know, I don't know why 5 years seems like a good amount of time to me, but it seems like a good amount of time, and I think they lasted me, like, 2 years. They were a gift. I think it's because technically they're not designed for workouts, so they're like water resistant but not waterproof, and probably all of my workouts did eventually fry them. But they stayed really well. They felt really secure because of the ear hook. And so I was afraid to get AirPods after that because I knew people said they liked them, but I have really small ears, so I was worried AirPods wouldn't stay in.
Mhm.
Which isn't actually a problem. I have AirPods. I don't work out in them, but I have on occasion when like my shocks are randomly dead, which doesn't happen very often. Um, or if I'm just like traveling or whatever and don't have them. But yeah, then I got a pair of AirPods for like daily use, and that was when, and very shortly after that, I received a pair of shocks for my birthday from Ben.
Aw.
Thanks, babe. And mwah, chef's kiss. Loved them. I loved them so much that I ended up buying him a pair for, I believe, Christmas, right after he got me some because they were just that good and we were training a lot and I wanted him to experience it as well, which they are so good. The amount of like you can genuinely hear everything just like you could if you were wearing like almost like noise canceling headphones. Like it is
Yeah.
clear and crisp. And even with like road noise and stuff, but you can also hear the road noise, so that's
Yeah.
really nice if you're when you're outside. I don't wear my shocks when I run on the treadmill because I actually do not want to hear the treadmill. I don't want to know.
I don't know
Um
what I don't want to know what's going on
I
in this
want to wear,
room.
yeah, I will wear my AirPods or something else when I'm on the treadmill because I don't want to hear the treadmill noise. It's not that I don't want to hear my breathing or whatever because I hear that outside plenty.
Fair.
I just really hate the way a treadmill sounds.
Like the ding, ding, like yeah.
I just really don't like it. Our treadmill at home is actually a lot quieter than any of the treadmills I've run in like a gym. I don't know if that's because, it's new and it's like in good working order and such or whatever, but it's a lot quieter. But I would highly recommend a pair of shocks. And they make a bunch like they've released even fancier models now. I think Natalie and I both have like the open run. Do you have a pro or just a regular open run? Because
Um
there's also open fit, which is kind of similar to the Power Beats. They're like individual ears, but they're also still a bone conduction. There's the Open Run Pro, which I listen to both in store, and honestly, unless you're like a crazy audiophile, I don't think you can hear much of a difference. And I think the only like real spec difference is maybe how fast they charge in quick charge mode.
my Bluetooth says that I have Open Run by Shocks, not Open Run Pro. I could not tell
Okay.
you. I could not tell you.
I'm pretty sure I have a regular open run. But then they also released they had the open swim, which was waterproof, so you could swim in those, like fully waterproof. And now they have an even upgraded one, which I think is like really truly meant for triathlon because I think it like switches or something. They released a whole new one in the last
Ooh.
year. And I'm not gonna lie, it was tempting. I keep entering giveaways in hopes that I will win a pair. Because I don't need to buy another pair. Mine are perfectly functional, but I want to know. What other gadgets and gizmos do we use, Natalie?
I feel like I'm not thinking of something that's relatively obvious, but I can't think of it, so I don't know how that works. Because like I don't really consider like there's nothing like techie necessarily about like my vest. I guess like if you really want to say like
Yeah.
I don't know your like safety equipment like your light, not really
Mm-hmm.
techie, but
There are electrolyte hydration sensors, but I've never tried one, so I
neither
don't
have
feel
I.
like I could speak to it. I did a lot of research into them trying to see, but I couldn't find enough consistent good reviews that they were actually like a good investment. It
Yeah.
sounded like if that's something you're interested in, which if you're a salty sweater and you need like some kind of indication about like just how salty a sweater, like Natalie,
Oh,
and
I
you
have an
don't want it
indication. It's
just
on my face after I finish running.
you can actually send like a sweat sample to a lab, like as a one
Ew.
off. I looked into this,
Wait, that's
and
cool.
yeah, I've considered it. I literally keep the tab open on my phone just in case at some point I want to actually go through with it. But that's something that people use. Um, what else is there? Yeah, I mean, we talked about like when we were talking about recovery about like rollers and
Mhm.
vibrating balls. There's all kinds of snazzy gadgets for the recovery space. There's a lot of gizmos, honestly, because like there's also the same company that makes a lot of the recovery guns. They'll also make patches that do
Ooh.
heating and cooling, and there's like a little pod, so the patches they're reusable, but eventually the adhesive will wear out, so you can replace that part. But then there's a chargeable pod that like heats the pad. So like you can get big strips for like your back, you can get little strips for like targeted spots on your leg. Ben absolutely adores his. I don't remember when he got that or why, but he has it and he loves it. I'll have to look up what exactly it's called, but I'm looking it up.
No, my first thought is like period cramps, like
Mhm.
heating pad type of deal.
Yeah, I mean I have an actual heating pad and I have a Warmy which you could microwave, so that's what I would use personally, but Therabody has ones called like the Thermaback, but that's like a big huge one. The one I'm thinking of is from Hyper Ice.
Oh yeah.
And let's see, what is it called exactly? Would help if my internet was faster.
Fast internet, part of technology.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, they have like a boot thing now. That's funky. Oh, it's called the Venom.
Ooh.
Isn't that intense?
What in the Spider-Man is going on
Yeah.
here?
So there's the Venom Go, which is what Ben has, and it's like travel size. So it's like a small square, maybe like I don't know, maybe like 3 inches by 3 inches or something, fairly small. And then you get the little pads, the stick-on pads that you can stick wherever for like more targeted. And then they have the Venom 2 back, which is like similar to the Therabody. It's like a full torso wrap situation, but the pod is still the same.
Ooh.
It's just different, basically, things you'd pop the pod onto. Because they make all kinds of ones. They've got the back, the go, the leg, the shoulder. So all the different like places. I know they have a knee thing now because a lot of people have knee problems. They have I don't know if that one does ice or what, but they have the hyper ice knee. It says it does hot and cold actually, the knee one. So but their stuff's really, really expensive.
I'm
The knee
basically
is $429.
oh god.
But
I'm
the
basically
Venom Go
imagining someone
is
mummified in
you're imagining
patches
someone mummified? Oh yeah, if they
in
use like all of them at
patches.
once. The
Yes.
Venom Go is 129. So we're talking like, more affordable territory in my opinion. Still not like something you need, but if you wanted something like that, it's in the more attainable range.
Hmm.
But I feel like those are all the things I can think of, honestly.
Oh, I guess one thing we didn't mention is that like we live like 800 plus miles away from each other
Yeah.
and we have the same coach.
Oh
And
yeah.
like True Coach is also like a great resource,
Mhm.
like different ways that and not well, that's the one we both use, but different like
Because that's
virtual
what
fitness
yeah.
programs. It's like, oh
Similar
yeah,
to
my
Rona.
coach. Like I feel so like bougie. It's like, yeah, my running coach.
I
Uh
do. Yeah, I think people think I'm like a way more uh I don't want to say serious because we are serious obviously. We have a freaking podcast where we talk about running. Um I don't think how serious you are about a hobby, a sport, or whatever is reflected in your physical ability or like being
mhm.
like we're not elite. But I think people think I'm more like towards the elite category when I tell them I have a coach.
Oh, Mr. Natalie's like, you're kind of like a sub elite. I'm like, oh,
Oh, no,
honey.
not even close.
Like, thank you, but, like, no. Like, it's like, "With how much you train a week," like, looking at, like, hours, like, and whatever. I'm like, "Yeah, oh, honey."
Mhm.
But it's really awesome, like, that we have this platform and, like, we have an ability to, like, communicate with our coach. Like, when I think I've told the story before when I had like a tweaky hammy at
Mhm.
Wine Dine in 2023, and I literally got like a couple minute long voice note back from my coach, Kristen, saying like what to do. She's like, you don't want to do too much, like they can be really finicky, and like kind of like walked me through some stuff I could do to stretch it out, and then I was fine completely after
Mhm.
that. But just like that platform to be able to communicate with someone and definitely lots of apps at your disposal and like I don't talk as I've talked about, but I mean, sometimes you can get different, like, I would tread cautiously, but like ideas of like, if you are like, don't know what you're doing in the gym. Um, I don't barely. I mean, I think I know, actually, I know
No,
enough to
that's
be,
not true.
I know enough to be dangerous now in terms of like things I remember, like, I hate doing this exercise, but I'm going to do it because I don't know what else to, not
There's a
necessarily,
difference between not knowing what to do at all, like, not even knowing how to do the exercises, and knowing how to put a plan together.
yeah, no, I'm in the latter category. Like, I know how to do the exercises. I submit my form checks and whatever. And I was cursing out the Bulgarian split squats I was doing the other day. But like if you don't know, like, oh, like what do I do? Like what should strength training like if you can't and if also like a coach like isn't feasible or affordable for you, like you can like maybe peruse some things, like tread cautiously with just kind of Googling like and TikToking what strength should I do for runners and whatever. Do a little bit more research than that as to like also what muscle groups you're targeting. Because I don't know what I'm talking about, first of all. So imagine like somebody else who's not as self aware as I am, trying to be like, yeah, you should totally do this like crazy like dance with 10-pound weights in each hand where you're like boinking your head. Yeah, you might strengthen your arms like a little bit, but you also might give yourself a concussion. So um there's definitely a lot of resources. There's a lot of knowledge sharing too. And like other runners will tell you, like, especially like a lot of people are like, you have to do your strength training. It helps so much. So a lot of people maybe give you some ideas too, or different plans.
One other thing we didn't really mention are heart rate monitors. So if you want something besides a watch and you want heart rate, you can get like just standalone heart rate straps that will pair through Bluetooth to your phone. So that's a great option. I have one from Polar, I believe, that I also got as a present. It's quite a theme in my life that I receive these types of things as gifts. They are what I ask for, so I like this is what I like, and I like that a lot. I think a lot, the chest strap is, I think, scientifically the most accurate of the options. Although now they've definitely got arm ones that are supposedly just as accurate,
Hmm.
that you can use, which is something I've been looking into because I think that would be better for me. I find it difficult with the chest strap one since I am also a sports bra wearer.
Yeah.
It has to go underneath your sports bra. So like it has to go under the band. And so you have to get that heart rate strap on nice and tight and like where it's supposed to be. You can put your sports bra on and like sort of like fold the chest band up so that you can put it on, but if your heart rate monitor is not secure, then it can be a bit annoying. So I just think there's a lot of trial and error there. And I think if you got like an arm strap, you would have less of that or it would be less annoying to adjust,
Hmm.
especially in public. And then there was one other thing that I thought of. Oh, this is not, I mean, it's tech, I'm going to say it's tech tangential. Is that, a lot of the point of tech for us is all the different data you get from it, right?
Mm.
Similar vein, if you are embarking on your running journey or you are going to start a new training cycle, as many of us are about to start a new training cycle for many races coming up, get your blood work done. Go see your doctor, make sure everything's good. It's just one, you should be doing it for health reasons annually anyways as an adult. But also, if your exercise routine is varying and stuff, it's good to have a baseline in case you start to feel any type of way, good, bad, or otherwise, but to be able to check that and make sure that everything is still good or better even potentially, and have that validated. A lot of people, that's how they find out that they have vitamin deficiencies, which can help with your energy levels or thyroid problems or hormone imbalances. There's all kinds of things you can find out that could theoretically make your running journey easier.
Yeah, for sure. Mine was like a mid first marathon cycle training, but I was really low in vitamin D. And let me tell you, when that got fixed, I was like a new woman. It's like, wow, life is a lot better when you don't have a vitamin D deficiency. I also know it's especially runners, especially women runners, it's really common to be low in iron. So,
yes, but don't just start supplementing.
Yes,
without getting checked.
Speak with a professional. Speak with a medical professional.
We are not medical professionals.
Yeah, we are not. I count beans.
I count code.
Nice.
Hey.
Speaking of techie things, I think we've
exhausted our list.
I think so. Take off your Mylar before you cross the start line. I felt like we needed like a little jolt, a little reminder.
Honestly, that's the most important tech out there. Take that Mylar off so your bib reads. And not even your bib, for everyone else. Don't risk someone else. That's rude.
Yes. It's rude like your favorite hater, your Garmin. Well, I think that's an episode. If you enjoy listening to our show, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. We love reading your reviews out loud, and you might even be featured on a future podcast episode. We also have a community spotlight on our Instagram at Stride Sisters Podcast. If you want to be featured for a Medal Monday, Finish Line Friday, or any accomplishment you'd like to celebrate, send us a picture via our social media platforms or our email. And to continue the fun, join us on our Facebook page. All the ways to connect with us can be found in the show notes. And remember, send in your questions for our anniversary episode next week. Thanks for listening. Until our next adventure, we're wishing you endless miles of magic and memories. See you next time.